It's about time I spilled some tea, or maybe I'm actually going to spill some wood. That's right, the spill plane. One of the most fascinating planes out of all the planes on the bench. Honestly, with all the planes in my shop, the spill plane is the weird one. It's something that's very different from anything else. The smoothing plane takes off material, but it takes off such a thin gossamer shaving. The scrub plane takes off material, but those curls are crunchy. They're almost blocks of wood rather than curls. Almost all the other planes remove the material and you get these really nice Fibonacci curls. Yet other planes come in to remove material to create a joint or molding or a shape in the wood. The spill plane, on the other hand, it doesn't remove material. It actually creates a finished product in a single pass. Watch this. This is a spill. Spills can be kind of thick and chunky, or they can be very delicate and clean. Small spirals, usually going from small to large, but these used to be incredibly common around every house. The spill plane is singularly unique, even though it comes in many different types, styles, and shapes. It is unique because it doesn't remove material from the wood to create a project. What actually comes out of it, the curl itself, is the project. This is the final result that people are trying to make, and they do it with a spill plane. If you went back in time to most any house in the entire world, before the advent of electric lights, you would have found spills. You would have usually found them in a jar or a cup sitting on top of the mantle, or maybe in the kitchen beside the fire cooking stove. Now, if I want to light a candle, I use a match. And then I try to not burn my finger because it's really close to the end, and I light my candle. Most houses had a live fire almost all the time. They had one in the stove. They had one in the fireplace. It may not be a live burning fire, but maybe some coals that were hot. And what you can do is take your spill and you can light it on those coals. And that bit burning in the end will burn for quite a while. As long as you're careful when you walk around the house, you can then use that to light many things. All of your lanterns. You can transfer the fire from your kitchen to your fireplace. You can light everything, and because it's a relatively long stick, it will burn for quite a while, as long as you're careful with it. With that bit burning up high, you can carry it all over the place. The spill was an everyday tool that everyone knew how to use. And nowadays it's something that no one's ever heard of. But the interesting thing is this is the product of the tool. And this tool is relatively interesting. Now, a spill plane was relatively common, but most people didn't have one of these in their house because they could go to the market and they could buy a bundle of spills for almost nothing. But it was something that you would often find at the carpenter's shop because they had all these scrap pieces of wood that didn't have much left. Well, with a spill plane, they can turn them into something that's actually still sellable. You could buy spills. So let's take a closer look at this weird little tool. So this is a relatively common design. You can see the iron is, well, at a weird skewed angle, and the sole on it has its own weird angle, and you come down underneath and the geometry on this is just, it's really hard to wrap your brain around. And the weird thing is, this isn't the only style. There are other styles that do very different things and may look a little more plain-like, but produce it in a different manner. And then there are others like this that actually get mounted to the bench rather than moved over the work. This particular one goes on the work at somewhat of an odd angle, and even if I go slowly, it'll still produce that spill. Or I can go really quickly, and I can produce a whole bunch of them. You can see how they're really light. They stick onto the wood sometimes, just with static electricity. This one is a slightly different design. This is actually a kit from Red Rose Reproductions. I did a video making this one a while ago. I'll try and leave it in the link down below. But this one I can put it on here, and it comes out this hole on the side. This one is weird because this angle isn't at 90 degrees. It's at something rather acute. This one you actually have to plane an angle into the board, and then when you put it in here, now the plane stays vertical, but at that angle, it produces spills. But then you got this one. This is its own weird funk thing. And this one you actually set down on the bench and you run the board over it. And you can see these ejecting out the side. I have this one set for a relatively heavy cut. With these heavier ones, you get a longer lasting flame, but they don't burn quite as fast. It's a lot of fun to be producing a product just like that. Veritas even makes one like this, where you mount it to the bench and you run the work over it. It's a lot of fun, and there have been a bunch of different designs over that years. And one of the weird things about spill planes is that there are so many different designs. It can be done a bunch of different ways, but all of them are just kind of mind-bending. And they're weird because, you know, how are you supposed to get a shaving that looks like that? It's a very, very high angle plane, and it's skewed incredibly far out, and it produces these. Curls come in all shapes and sizes, but spills are interesting. So there you have it, spill planes. They're kind of cool, they're a lot of fun, and they're one of those things that every time I come across one that's a little different or something funky, I just gotta pick it up. And that's what happened this weekend with finding this one. And I'll probably find more in the future and add them to it, and I just really enjoy them. Spill planes are just kind of interesting. And surprisingly, they're relatively expensive because around 100 years ago, no one needed to make spills anymore, so why do you need a plane that's only purpose is to make a wood curl? So a lot of them ended up disappearing. But there's a bunch of people out there trying to revive them and bring them back because I can. Do they have any practical purpose? No. But they're a lot of fun, and particularly some of these like this from Red Rose reproductions that you can make yourself. They're just enjoyable. And of all of these planes I have here, this is the only original one that I have. Every other one has been made within the last 15, 20 years because we like making weird things, I guess. So if you have any questions, thoughts, ideas, things you'd like to see, if there's some particular plane that you have that you think I should show, let me know. I would love to hear about that. And if you do put comments down below, I do read through as many of them as possible, but it helps out the channel. There are a lot of people who put snide comments down below thinking they're gonna hurt this channel, but honestly, it helps us out. Anytime you like, comment, share, subscribe, all those things help the channel and keeps us going, gets us in front of more people, algorithm, all that stuff. You've heard it before, but really it means a lot. Thank you for like, comment, share, and subscribe. But if you really want to be amazing, beautiful, wonderful, benevolent, gorgeous, think about joining these people over here because those are some of the patrons on Patreon. And between patrons, members like you, people who've clicked that thank you button down below, thank you. Without you guys, we wouldn't be here. We're completely sponsored by you, and you're the ones that allow me to go and purchase interesting, funky things to show off from time to time. So if you like that, think about becoming a patron. And I think that'll do it for now. And until next time, have a wonderful day. Spill plane. You know, in other industries, they call that a crash.